What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, check it out, man. We know James Gunn got a lot on his plate, and probably the most important thing he got on his plate is this Superman movie that's going to come out next year in July. One of the biggest movies of 2025. We all know that. And despite how you might feel about this Superman trailer with him in the Yamcha pose sitting in the crater, it got overwhelmingly positive results, all right? 1.1 million likes to 74,000 dislikes. You can't sneeze at that and say, oh, man, that ain't good. No, that's good. That is a good, overwhelmingly positive reception for the first Superman trailer. Lots of people watched it, still number 23 on trending. It's doing great, okay? But we all know that trailers are just trailers. I've seen good trailers for bad movies. I've seen bad trailers for good movies, all right? So that ain't really going to tell us the tale. What will tell us is when we start hearing some stuff coming out about test screenings. Well, we're starting to hear some stuff coming out about test screenings, and according to the rumors, it's not good following the test screenings when it comes to Superman. Now, they say here that the tone is compared to Captain America, the First Avenger. I was kind of scratching my head with that because I was like, well, I thought Captain America, the First Avenger, actually had a pretty good, solid tone that would have really worked for a Superman movie. Yeah, this is an article that came out a couple of years back from Game Rant. The MCU's Captain America is what the DCEU's Superman should have been. Now, I'm not saying from character to character it should have been that. But yeah, when you're talking about the tone of the movie, when you're talking about hopeful, you're talking about heroic, all right? That was Captain America, the First Avenger. I think that fit the tone of what we want from a Superman movie, you know? Something that's not overly jokey and it's got a lot of comedy in it, but it's also not overly serious, has a little bit of lightheartedness, but still some weight to it where the villains feel villainous and there's room to, have some, some smiles and some laughs. Hopeful, right? Heroic. That's what you want out of a Superman movie. That's what we got out of Captain America, the First Avenger. I thought Captain America, the First Avenger was fine. So when they say this, I'm like, I'm kind of cool with that tone. The tone. Now, Superman and Captain America, completely different characters, but truth, justice, and the American way, it's in the bloodline of both of those characters. So I expect Superman and, Captain America to have more in common than different, in terms of the tone of the movies. Okay. But we're going to cover this one right here because, Cosmic Book News also reporting the Superman Fallout buzz is not good and we should be worried. Let's go ahead and check this out. Following the release of the Superman trailer and a test screening, it's claimed that Warner Brothers is nervous about the movie. Worth a mention is that prior to the release of the trailer, it was said Warner Brothers wasn't happy. The latest comes from Jeff Snyder on the most recent episode of the Hot Mic podcast. While discussing the recent news about the Batman Part 2 getting delayed and the Andy Muschietti DCU Brave and the Bold movie getting postponed, Snyder reveals he talked to a source who said there are big concerns surrounding Gunn's Superman. All right, so here's the quote. I went to dinner with a source who knew multiple people who had seen Superman. The buzz is not good. It's not me trying to take the movie down. Maybe I misphrased the VFX things. I'm hearing bad things. I'm hearing you should be worried things. Now, a lot of time between now and July 11, a lot of things could happen. Sounds like James Gunn is aware of some of the feedback. Yeah, you better believe it. All right. If there's any feedback coming out of this, these are rumors, of course, but if there's any truth to this, yeah, James Gunn obviously knows all about it. You put test screenings out for that reason. Hey, what do you think? Give us your feedback. And then people will chime in and they'll tell them, okay, this is what we think. This is what the movie should be, or this is what you're doing that we don't like, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's what they do with these test screenings. You hear some feedback. Now, I'd be interested to know who it is that went to these test screenings. Is it just WB folks, the execs or some of the staff, or is this outside? If they bring some outside folks in, comic book fans, people that know the character, know Superman, know comic book movies and comic book lore, who did they bring in to go and see these test screenings? That's vital, all right? And we remember Captain America, Brave New World, all right? It went through multiple test screenings that were always negative. This sounds like it's not as bad, but nevertheless, we got to wait and see. But yeah, James Gunn, man, again, he got his hands full right now. He got a lot going on, James. This one is the most important project. You can't mess this one up. Now, Snyder then references a recent report from THR, The Hollywood Reporter, published in their email newsletter on December 6th and said, sounds like THR is aware of some of the feedback, or they're just keeping that amazing buzz that the studio would love to have out there in the Fortress of Solitude. Read between the lines, people. Yeah, so basically Jeff Snyder's like, look, if this thing was great, if this thing was amazing, if this thing was just a 10 out of 10, oh yeah, they would be buzzing about it. They would be talking about it. They wouldn't be able to shut up about it. It's like, oh my God, Superman, I couldn't believe the test screening that I saw. It was amazing. It was spectacular. It was what? They would be saying all of that. The fact that they're not saying that and they're keeping all of that in-house, that tells you everything you need to know. That's basically what Jeff Snyder is saying. For reference, here's what THR said. We've heard from multiple sources about one screening in particular on the lot and with his close-knit crew of people he trusts. Okay, so these are people that he trusts. We are keeping the buzz about the movie itself in our own fortress of solitude, but we can tell you that the movie will be doing a few days of additional shooting in Los Angeles in the near term. Yeah, so again, read between the lines. You know, the buzz is not good coming out of the people he trusts. All right. So if all of the rumors are true, yeah, we might have a shitstorm on our hands right now when it comes to Superman. What Snyder is stating is that obviously THR wouldn't keep things locked up in their fortress of solitude if they knew about Superman movie. What they knew about Superman is good news. Hence, it's bad news. The World of Real also reported that Snyder previously said he heard from a rock-solid source that Superman, or at least the cut recently shown on the Warner lot, is kind of a mess. That's the truth from someone in the know, and right now, Warner is starting to get nervous about the film. Yeah, look, Warner Brothers is going to get they folks out there. Hey, tell us what's going on with this movie. Is it good? You know, James is going to be coming back to us asking for some bread for reshoots or whatever. It might need to do something different. You know, how does this thing look? And so, yeah, they're going to have their people out there. It doesn't look like it's doing too hot. The podcast continued as Snyder went on a bit of a rant about how crazy the fans can get, adding, sorry, that's what the buzz is. The buzz is what it is. I can't change that. Look, fans are going to get crazy because we're fans. And fans have a right to feel any way they want to feel about a project. You know, like going back to Henry Cavill, there's a lot of fans that are still angry about that. It was about like 2 years ago, right? It was about 2 years ago this December when James Gunn told Henry Cavill, your services are no longer required. All right. A lot of fans have still not forgot that. So this thing is going to be picked apart. I said this from the very beginning. The trailer's going to be picked apart and every stitch of news is going to get picked apart. All right. Raked over with a fine-tooth comb. Fans, James Gunn, you got to stick to landing, bruh. You got to stick to landing on this. Otherwise, this thing going to be a hot mess. Yeah, then they also threw in that the tone was also of The Mummy, of Captain America and the Mummy. John Roca chimes in and says what an insider filled him in about Superman. Someone who's seen Superman told me it has the tone of the first Captain America movie and the Mummy film. Snyder laughed and yelled out, that's bad. See, I don't, look, these two movies, Captain America and the Mummy, the first Mummy, all right, that very first one. This, in my opinion, is closer to the tone of a Superman movie, at least, again, that first Superman movie, hopeful, heroic, truth, justice, the American way, not overly heavy and serious, like something to that effect is what you are looking for when you're trying to do Superman. All right. Captain America, the Mummy, kind of in that same vein. All right. It definitely has some weight to it. There's some weight of seriousness, but not overly serious. There's a lot of fun, but not overly comedic and hilarious. It's like we're not doing that. I think to me, like, that's kind of in the same ballpark. You want to be in that range. You don't want to be too far away from these two films. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think, but that's where I'm at with it. They said Nicholas Hoult is the standout and the film was decent, but a large chunk of the film was unfinished with only a third of the film's VFX being done. Least amount of humor of any Gunn film. All right. Well, that's good. All right. But there's still humor throughout the film. They think most people will be satisfied with the movie and it should be received well enough to continue Gunn's DCU. Look, the tone is everything when it comes to Superman, this first one. Again, I think the tone of the Henry Cavill Man of Steel, even though I like the movie, I think a lot of that turned people off. And again, it's just going back to you need to hit that definitive version of Superman. Who is Superman? And let's just be honest. The Henry Cavill Man of Steel that we got, that was a darker turn for Superman, not as hopeful as we would normally want to see. Had some moments of hope, but overall, there was kind of a dour kind of feel to it. It's a little bit darker than what we would expect for the first Superman out the gate. Now, I feel like down the line, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want to do with Superman, but you don't start him off in like this almost dark, depressing state where, you know, it's all this stuff. Like, that was really the issue in my opinion. But, you know, in terms of like the tone that they're talking about here, I don't really have a problem with it. There's plenty of reason to be nervous. Also, during the podcast, Snyder says he was contacted by someone connected to the editing world who tested him. Your Superman reports are spot on. There's plenty of reasons to be nervous. Well, see, again, that's problematic, man. That is problematic. Somebody was hitting him up during the podcast and saying, yeah, we hearing the same thing, bruh. All right? Plenty of reasons to be nervous right now if you're DC and if you're James Gunn and all of them cats. And then, of course, Superman arrives on July 11. Look, he's got time, okay? He's got time. There is, 7 months left before we get to this movie. And, there's going to be reshoots, whether those are pickup shots or he's actually trying to change something in the movie. That remains to be seen. But, it does say right here, the original superhero in the newly imagined DC universe with a singular blend of epic action, humor, and heart. Boom, there it is. That's what you need, okay? That's what you need. Humankind, compassion, and inherent beliefs, all of that, okay? And goodness, truth, justice, the American way. That's what James Gunn needs to hit, along with a good story, well told, compelling characters, a really solid villain, and then David Cornsweet just sticking the landing as Superman and making us believe a man can fly and all of that kind of stuff. Like, you need that. That's what you are looking for right now with this first Superman movie. And it's got to be a hit. It's got to be a hit. I don't know what it needs to make in the box office, but the movie has to be good. So we'll see what it is, man. But right now, James Gunn, he's got his work cut out for him, it sounds like. All right. Clock's ticking, James. You got about 7 months. You better get it right. All right. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.